Hi, I'm Kathy O'Connell, and I'm in the love business, and I want to welcome you all here today to hear about love. I don't always use those terms. My wife doesn't like me to say we're in the love business, but I'm a wedding planner, I'm an event planner, and we literally do help create love every weekend. Today, I'm going to help you learn about love, why love is important. Why do you need love in your business? Why do you need love in your life? How can you help it with your posts and your connections and everything you do on a daily basis? I'm going to talk about the qualities of love. How do you define love, and what are the ways you really use that as a tool to make decisions with? Because I want you to walk away from this having some ideas about how you can use love as a decision-making tool in your business and your life. And then I also want to talk about celebrating love. How can you keep celebrating it once you have an idea of what that means for you? There are some fabulous quotes about love. This is one of my favorite. I've decided to stick with love. Hate is too great a burden to bear. Martin Luther King. And I think this sums up kind of where we are in the whole world right now. I want us to talk about love. I want us to be love. I want us to walk away from this thinking about how can I be more love in this world and focus positively. But I really want to share why me. Why should I talk to you about love? What is my jam? Well, yes, I'm a wedding planner. Wasn't always a wedding planner. You don't just wake up one day and say, I want to be a wedding planner. It's kind of, these days it's more popular, but 15 years ago when I got started, I was like, what's a wedding planner? I have a background in design and architecture. I spent many years working in corporate America, running large projects, managing lots of people. And I gotta tell you, I was really lucky in my 20s to be a boss early. I was a bitch. I did not have the love jam. I did not know how to be a great, compassionate leader of people. It's something you have to learn. One year, I went through 3 assistants in 12 months. I'm not proud of that. And it's because I was a perfectionist. It's because I thought, I'm always right. Even when I'm wrong, I'm right. My wife says I'm confidently wrong. But it's about being that type of person and having expectations of people, yet not sharing it compassionately. So I was a bad boss. Over the years, I got more people working for me. I gained more experiences. I spent some time working on myself, understanding why I was complicated and difficult with people sometimes. And that helped make me a better boss. But I really still wasn't satisfied. So I went back to seminary. I became an ordained minister, thinking I was going to solve the world that way. One story led to another. I wound up marrying people. And it was the most exciting thing I'd ever done, because it's all about love. And I took that and went from just a couple of weddings a year to starting to plan them, to then creating what we have today, which is this. And I have to tell you, I've done amazing weddings all over the world. I've married fantastic people, created lots of fans around everywhere, but this is what I am most proud of. This is our team. This is our jam. Some of them are here right here today. and you like the sparkle, Jessica? That's for you. But we have created, through lots of love and hardship and tears and pain, a team that is all about love, and I'm very, very proud of this, and that's what I'm really here to talk about. So what are the qualities of love, the things that are most important to pay attention to? And I broke it down so you can remember it, L-O-V-E. Love. You have to be able to have devotion. You have to be able to have faithfulness. You have to be loyal. That's what love is most all about. You have to have openness. How are you open and accessible to people? How are you open and accessible to your team? You have to be vulnerable. You have to be able to trust and share. That's one of the key components of love. How do you have that? And then you have to be empathetic. You have to be able to understand and to share about yourself and about others. So let's break these down. Loyal. Like being loyal. Anybody have puppies? Dogs know how to be loyal no matter what. And that is one of the key definitions of loyal. But I think most important is being loyal to yourself. Do you really trust yourself? Are you loyal to your own needs first? If I hadn't paid attention to myself and gone off and done what I really wanted, I would not be standing here right now. I have to pay attention to what you want. Then you also have to be loyal to your team. Whether your team is a lot of people working for you, or whether your team is your partners, just the people that you individually work with, the people who are following you, the people that you are leading, the people that you are counseling. That is your team. And being loyal to them. When you choose team members, they need to be loyal to your vision. They need to be loyal to themselves. And they also need to be loyal to each other. And that's the part sometimes people forget, especially as organizations get bigger. How do you maintain a loyalty together to keep working towards the same thing. And lastly, loyalty to your client, having loyal clients. Nothing is more exciting to me than when somebody calls and says, oh, you married my Aunt Sally's cousin, sister, and you're going to do my wedding. That's loyalty. Those are fans that last forever. So that's what loyalty is. Now let's talk about openness. What does being open mean? Open to yourself. Again, expanding your own visions of who you really are. Be open to that. Wow. Life throws stuff at you. Sometimes it's awful stuff. Sometimes it's fabulous stuff. Sometimes it's rock your socks off and you're going to be a wedding planner stuff. And sometimes it's, wow, you got to go to Alt Summit and who are you going to meet while you're here? Pay attention to those moments and be open with yourself. Be open to your team. When you have a team, this team, make sure you are challenging each other, open to change visions, open to people wanting to do other things. Being open and honest with each other is a key part of having a team. And the same with your partners, being open with them, sharing what's happening when you have challenges, having them share back with you when there's stuff going on with them. And lastly, being open with your clients. There are people who they call us and they want to be they want us to hire them, and they won't tell me what the budget really is. I mean, I'm going to manage the budget. I'm going to know. You don't think I'm going to know at the end of the day what the wedding really costs? So if somebody's being cagey at the beginning, maybe they're not the kind of client we want, and that's okay. The key is to know what your goals are, what you want your people to do, and I want clients who are all about love. Being vulnerable. Sometimes this is the hardest piece for people. How do we be really vulnerable? With ourselves. I think you have to be really open and honest, and when somebody pushes your button, look at why. Why is that person connecting and making me be upset about what's going on right now? What did I have to do? What is my part in that? So knowing yourself and being willing to share yourself with others. A year ago, almost today, a year ago next week, I lost my mother on the day of our biggest wedding of all time. I had to leave. I was gone. I had to be vulnerable. I had to call everybody, the client. I had to call the hotel, say, see ya. I got this amazing team. It was one of the best weddings we ever did, and I was not there. But I had to be vulnerable and be okay with that happening. Because not only was I true to myself and vulnerable, I was vulnerable with my team. And they were able to step in and rise up and be fantastic and really make it happen. I also think vulnerability with your partners is really important. We have a vendor we work with all the time, fantastic decor person, and they were going through some stuff. She was going through some stuff a few years ago, and they were not delivering on time or as expected. And I could have cut and run, could have said, yeah, we've worked with you for 10 years, but you are failing, I am out of here. Instead, I made the call, I said, what's going on? And I wound up with her in my arms, crying, telling me what was going on. And it was stuff, big stuff. And it was stuff that got fixed. And now this vendor is as loyal to us as we are to her. I could ask for anything, and it would happen tomorrow. And the same with your clients. You need to be open and vulnerable with them, and you want them the same way. I love it when a client calls and says, something's bugging me right now. I'm not feeling the love. I sit down and let's get that love back, because that's what makes us all better and stronger. And empathetic. Being able to share and be honest with each other. Because again, really, be empathetic with yourself. We all screw up, but honor that and forgive yourself and say, okay, we blew it. How am I going to come back into that state of love? Be empathetic with your team. Again, I'm a perfectionist, and sometimes I try to be really better in my text now. It's really easy to scream at people on text. Have you noticed that? Be careful with your texts. Slow down. If it sounds nasty, don't send it. Don't use caps. Don't use caps. Even by mistake. Jessica calls me on it. I used caps by mistake, and she's like, why are you yelling at me? It's like, oh, I'm sorry. You just be empathetic. And the same with your team. Having empathy with what might be going on. Where is somebody at? If somebody's off, ask them. Don't just figure, oh, well, she's just being a bitch today. And the same with your partners, having empathy and understanding with them. What are they going through and what's really important? And the same thing with clients. You just never know what is going on with somebody. You never know. And it's really easy to make assumptions. It's really easy to make assumptions, oh, that person's really shut down, or oh, that person is not collaborating. There may be something bigger going on that you have no idea. So ask, have empathy, try and share. Because basically this is a choice. I really believe that this is all a choice. You need to be loyal, you need to be open, you need to be vulnerable, and you have to have empathy. But you have to use these as, are you making your decisions based on coming from this place of love? Because there really are key decisions in your life, in your work, in your business, that you could look at each one of these things and say, what am I choosing here? How am I going forward? That's just because I like it. Is that a pretty picture? Because it really is about celebrating it. And once you choose that you're going to go forward and act and make decisions from a place of love, how are you going to stay in that place? So I want to talk about how to stay in that love groove. I'm going to talk about how to overcome non-loving vibes and how to create accountability for yourself. Because staying in that groove is not always easy. I mean, we're wedding planners. It is, yeah, we're in love business, and we have people who are really happy all the time, in theory. It is also one of the top 10 most stressful jobs in the United States. You can imagine why. Yes, bridezillas do exist. More common are groomzillas and sisterzillas. They're a really big deal, the sisterzillas. So staying in the groove is really important for all of us. Taking time out for self-care. We try as a team once a month to do something crazy. We just went out off on the fault lines in the desert, and they made me climb rocks, and I'm not very good at that. But stay in that groove. Do stuff for yourself. Have a massage. Do whatever makes you feel most comfortable. Having that team, you need a tribe. Whether it's one person, whether it's a family member, whether it's great people you've met here today, this weekend at Alt Summit, make that tribe be part of your life so that you always have somebody you can pick up that phone and say, help me, just for 5 minutes, help me, or just have a drink with me, whatever it is you need. And then time out. I had a boss years ago when I was first sales job I had, and I had an off day, and he says, okay, pack it up, you're going to the beach. I was like, what? It's Tuesday afternoon. He says, look, you can't successfully accomplish anything today because you're off. So go to the beach. You'll get it done. You'll make your numbers. Went to the beach, came back the next day, closed a big deal. Anybody have non-loving vibes in their life? Things come in their way? Overcoming non-loving vibes is really important. And there are a couple ways. If we had an hour, I would teach you more of these specifically. But one of the biggest things I learned from a therapist many years ago was about creating bubbles and creating bubbles around yourself. And when somebody is throwing those darts of negative vibes at you, just protecting yourself and just picture yourself floating around a bubble. And whatever's coming at you is just bouncing off that bubble. And then you do not have to be taking that into yourself. And that has saved my life, frankly, because I had to leave a very toxic situation, and I learned how to do that. And even if it's just that little client who's yelling at you, try to look at it and say, what's going on with them? Wow, I wonder why they're acting so awful today. Maybe it has nothing to do with something you think you did or didn't do. Having that empathy, again, that takes you out of being in that negative space. Having forgiveness for those people, that's the next piece that helps make that out of toxicity for yourself. And then lastly, sending back love to them. You know how hard that is? Is that easy? Is it easy to send somebody love who's mad at you? No. But take a minute, and I always try to just close my eyes, picture your heart filled with a big ball of light, and then just take that and send it across to wherever that person is. It may not impact them at all. I have seen miracles happen, and it might. But it also might completely help you feel better. Because it's really about making decisions and having accountability. So take some time and figure out what is the promise to yourself about love. How are you going to commit to creating love in your life? Write it down. There's nothing more powerful than writing things down. I know we all send slides and notes to all these conferences, but there's a connection between your hand and your brain or your fingers. I don't know, does it work as well with your fingers and your brain? I hope so, because that's what I do. And then find a way to measure your success. How well are you doing at that? And maybe it's just the little things. That one client who we have a client that we print things with. And this gal's just crotchety. Every time I go in there, she's growling at me. But my goal is to start getting her to react. And I actually got a smile last week. So, I think she knows my name finally. It's been like 3 years. She should know who I am. But she finally gave me a little smile. So little measurable success. And then when you get it and you nail it, celebrate it. Do something fun. Say, wow, look what we created. Look what we did. Because it really is back to being a choice. Love is a choice, and it's a choice for you to make, whether it's today, whether it's tomorrow, whether it's tonight, whether it's anywhere in your life. Choose it and decide if you really want to have a love jam. Are you a love jam person? Are you acting? Are you making your decisions from a place of love? Are you making choices coming from that place of love? How are you choosing what you're doing every day? And write it down. What is your story? Take a book, take a notepad. One of the speakers here sells great notepads. Get one of her journals and write down what's your new story of love. Because that's what it's all about. All you need is love. That's love. Thank you. And I think we did it. Any questions? I got like 2 minutes to go. I think we're happy. Share the love. I know it's tough what's going on in this world. We're all scared. And I would always say go out and just hug everybody. But, just elbow bump everybody you run into if you don't want to hug them. Just share that love. Oh, I have a question right there.
I have a question. Maybe you covered this and I missed hearing it. But, was there one moment when you vulnerably said that you were bad boss to rad boss that kind of awakened that moment? Or was it
It actually was a moment. It was a moment when I was sitting in a conference thinking, it was like a workshop, thinking I was like Susie Perfect. I'm here in my little red suit and my little red lips and my little red nails. That was the color. This was like 15 years ago. I was like in. And I thought I had the world on why am I here? I know what I'm doing. And I was literally called out for being cute and clueless. And I was very offended at first. I was like, and this person said it to me, my wife. And now my wife, she was not my wife then. And I was like, no, I got it together. I am not clueless. And I really had to think about it. It's like, what part of this is an act and what part of this is real? And I wanted to go for real. So I did some work, I saw a therapist, I took more workshops, I did the work to find out what is real and what I really want. And it was changed my life, 180. I mean, I was over here married with stepchildren and a man and all this kind of stuff, and now I'm over here happy as a clown. So it's about being real, finding out what's real. So thank you for that question. Anybody else?